Okay, hello, good morning everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Chris and I'm one of the Shortcuts educators here. So what we're going to be going through this morning is we're going to be going through sort of a refresher of Shortcuts and also a new starter because very much welcome. We have some people with us that aren't necessarily with Shortcuts just yet. So it's a great way to sort of introduce yourselves to, let's say, the sort of basics of what Shortcuts can offer. But of course, we have so much more, as I'm sure loads of other customers will tell you. But what we're going to be going through today is just sort of the day-to-day bits and bobs. And of course, with everything going on, it's a great way for our existing customers to sort of brush up and sort of just run through their existing skills. Okay, so we're going to be going through our new starter and our refresher course for today. So just before we do get started, there is always a little bit of housekeeping. I'm sure some of you will be familiar with this if, of course, you've been on some of my webinars before. Okay, the duration of today's webinar will be roughly 45 minutes to an hour. And of course, depending on the kind of questions we get, it may be a little bit longer, it may be a little bit shorter. You're more than welcome to ask me some questions throughout the webinar. However, depending on the sort of topic that they're related to, I may just leave them to the end, but if not, I may answer them straight away, but I will always keep an eye on them, okay? As with all of our webinars, they are all uploaded to YouTube as well. But if you do have any issues, please either drop me an email or speak to our customer care, who'll be more than happy to send that across. Just for the time being, just due to our schedules, there's currently around a 3 or 4 day wait before we can get those videos sent across to you. And as well, just to say, next week, as I'm sure most of you will know, we tend to run these webinars every Wednesday all day. Unfortunately, next week, we will not be running any classroom sessions. It's just the way the schedules have gone. And also the week after, we will be running very limited sessions. But what we do have, we have some nice new bits and pieces I want to introduce to everybody. So I think the Wednesday before the 4th of July, fingers crossed when we can all open, I will do sort of a brand new webinar with lots of new bits and bobs, okay? So I will introduce this on every webinar. So if you join me for every webinar today, I apologize. I am going to repeat myself with that. But please let everybody know if you've got friends, family, all that kind of stuff that do use Shortcuts. Please do let them know. And of course, we will have a big marketing email going out. But that's all I can say. It's very hush-hush. We do have some new bits and bobs I will be showing everyone in 2 weeks from today. But like I said, next week, we're not going to be running any classroom sessions, unfortunately. And the week after, it'll be very limited. After that, moving forward, I know you're all going to be super duper busy with clients, but we will resume a normal service every Wednesday, all day with our classroom sessions. And of course, it will be fantastic to have you on board. But I fully appreciate you're going to be so busy, you're going to be in so much demand with all of your clients, you may not be able to drop in. Perfect. So with that being said, let's have a look at our new starter / refresher training. Okay. Now, if you are specifically watching this because you do have a new staff member starting with you, please ensure this new employee has already been created, assigned a level such as senior stylist, because of course that does affect the pricing that they charge. And has been allocated the correct security role. Now, if you're not entirely sure what all of this means, it's not a problem. We have lots of webinars showing all of this. And of course, if you are a new user with us, when you take Shortcuts out, of course, you will have a full day of training dedicated to showing you all of these means. So please don't worry. And of course, they have been allocated a PIN before they can use Shortcuts, just for nice and safety reasons. So today's lesson will show you how to use Shortcuts on a day-to-day basis and have you successfully booking in clients in no time. Now, you're going to be super duper busy around the 4th of July, so we want to ensure we can get those clients booked in ASAP. Okay, so in this session, we will be covering the overview of your appointment book and of course, creating appointments and the day-to-day running, okay? Just going to be nice and easy. We're going to take it nice and slow. We're going to go through all of that day-to-day running. We're also going to be looking at the client data, client cards, and how this can be managed, okay? So the opt-in, the opt-out, we want to stay hot on GDPR. We've got all of that to take care of. We're going to be looking at our Shortcuts POS system. POS is point of sale. That basically just means your till system, okay? And we're also going to be looking at adding new services, products to a sale line. Again, adding services and products to a client's bill. And of course, taking the client's bill. I'm also going to be looking at employee performance and how they can track this on a day-to-day basis. Excellent stuff. So you will know you can contact us at education@shortcuts.co.uk. Now, please be aware, as I'm sure you're all aware, there is only currently two of us working from the education department. So just please bear with us if you do drop us any emails, any requests. We do aim to get back to you within the first couple of hours. However, we do say there is around a 24 to 48-hour wait. However, we do not like to keep people waiting. We do like to offer the highest level of service possible. So we aim to get back to you absolutely as soon as we possibly can. But please bear in mind, we usually run back-to-back appointments, just like normal hairdressers, beauty therapists, and barbers. Okay, so just please bear that in mind. Lovely. And of course, if you do need anything urgent, we do have our help desk on 0161 972 4900. Perfect. Okay, so let's jump directly into our live demonstration. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our Shortcuts Fusion system. Okay, for our new users, this is what we call our Shortcuts Fusion system. It's our main desktop appointment book. Okay, so let's run through it. Let's run through absolutely everything, just in case there's a few bits and bobs we've missed. So in the top left-hand corner, we can see there's a calendar, okay? And that says Wednesday, the 17th of June, which of course is today's date. So we're looking at today's date, Wednesday, the 17th of June. So over to the top right-hand corner, we also have today's date and today's time, Wednesday, the 17th of June. And in the bottom right-hand corner of our computers, our laptops, you will also see we have today's date and today's time. So if we go back to our top left-hand corner, let's say we wanted to choose a specific month or a specific day. If we click onto this calendar, today's date is always highlighted in red. Again, that's Wednesday, the 17th of June. And you can choose a specific month or a specific day. Also from the drop-down menu at the top just here, you can choose a specific month. And of course, you can choose a specific year. Now, you can go all the way to 2039. Now, we're hoping we're going to be nice and busy moving forward. I'm not sure we're going to be quite booked up to 2039, but fingers crossed we are going to be super duper busy. Now, we do like our visual indicators here at Shortcuts. It's just a way to help everybody out. So as we look at this calendar, we can see we've got this sort of dark blue, dark gray section just here. And then underneath, we've got a light gray section. And as we click and drag down, we've got a dark gray, dark gray, and light gray. They represent full calendar months. So it's nice and easy to determine when a month ends and a new one begins. Okay, so just a nice quick visual indicator there for you. Back to our appointment book. We have a list of our staff members along the top just here. And down the left-hand side, we have our appointment intervals. So they currently go in 15 minutes. So we're looking at 10, 10:15, 10:30, 10:45, and so forth. Now, also, as we look at our appointment book, you will notice there's this sort of dark blue, sort of black section just here. And underneath, we've sort of got a slightly lighter blue section. And it's almost divided by this invisible line just here. This represents and lets us know exactly where we're up to in the day. Center bottom of our screen, we have 5 buttons. We have the Today button, which will automatically take us back to today. We have the Day Forward button, and we have the Week Forward button. If we click on the Day Forward button, this will take us simply forward 1 day. So if you're coming to us from a paper book, this is like flicking through the pages of your appointment book. If you click on the Week Forward button, this simply takes us forward 7 days each time. Now, you may be thinking, well, what about if I have a client that comes in every 2 weeks, or maybe every 4 weeks, or even every 6 weeks? So what we can do on our appointment book just here where it says week, we can right click and go forward 2, 4, or 6 weeks. And of course, in the top left-hand corner, we can also use our calendar to skip forward a certain amount of days, weeks, or months. And at any point, we can click the Today button, which will take us directly back to today. Okay, so that's the absolute basics there of our appointment book. Now, as we're looking at it, we can see Sarah and Matt, it's their day off today. But James, he's sort of set to work. So we can see Sarah and Matt, it's their day off, but James is set to work. So what about if we wanted to filter our appointment book down a little bit? If we wanted to make it ever so slightly easier to sort of visually see what we're doing? Because of course, at the moment with COVID, we want to ensure we don't make any mistakes with any of our appointments because they're all going to be very, very crucial. So in the bottom left-hand corner, we can see this funnel just here. This is where we can start to filter our appointment book down. So there's lots of different ways we can filter the appointment book down, but if we click just here where it says rostered on, we can click onto that and it will only show you staff members that are set to work today. And we can remove that filter by simply taking the tick out of the bottom left-hand corner. Now, if you want to know more advanced ways of filtering your appointment book down, we do also run an advanced appointments webinar, which will show you how to do that. Now, some of you of our eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed already we're only looking at a small portion of the day. So we're looking at around 9:45 up till 2 p.m. But of course, this salon is open a lot later than that. So what we can do, we can change our view mode. Now, in the bottom right-hand corner of our appointment book, we can see it says menu. If we click onto menu, and if we go to where it says view mode quarter of a day, we can change how we can view our appointment book. And let's change it back to half a day. So again, that's all to do with aesthetics and depending on however you would like it to look. Perfect. Okay, so what about if we want to make an appointment? The all-important bit, let's make an appointment. Now, you may be thinking it's going to be nice and easy to make an appointment in Sarah's column because, of course, we've got the timings directly next to it. But what about if we wanted to make an appointment over in James's column or even further across, of course, if we have more staff members? Now, let's say if we click and drag with the left side of our mouse, you can see each appointment cell kind of goes a little bit sort of dented, a little bit highlighted. And over on the left-hand side, if you just look where our appointment intervals are, we can see the time highlights in yellow. So we've got 12:45, 1, 1:15. Again, it's a great way to ensure we're accurately booking an appointment at the correct time. Now, if of course at any point you just simply want to rest your mouse, we can drop it down here in this section just here where my cursor is. And as you can see, my screen doesn't change. So let's make an appointment. I'm going to make an appointment with James at 12:15. So I'm going to click and drag, find the 12:15 time, and simply release my mouse. And this will simply take us to where all of our clients will sit. So think of this as a bit like the phone book in your smartphone. So on the left-hand side, we will have a whole list of all of our clients. Now, if we want to search for an existing client, we can do this at the top white bar just here. This is where we will search for an existing client. Now, there are lots of different ways to search for existing clients. You will see by default, we are currently searching via last name. But of course, we can hit our drop-down arrow and search by first name, phone number, club ID, or email. So lots of different ways to accurately ensure we are booking the correct client. So let's say we wanted to create an appointment for a brand new client. You will see we simply have the new button just here with the green cross. So we're going to click onto that and we're going to create a brand new client. Okay. Let's type in the first name and we have to type in the last name. Now for shortcuts, just to help ourselves and our clients out, we do have to take at least one contact number. Now, typically, this is, as you can imagine, the mobile number. Perfect. Underneath, we do have some other options we can take, but these are not mandatory, okay? These can, of course, be set up to be mandatory in the configuration, which, of course, will be covered on your day one of install. To confirm this, simply click the Done button. We can now see on the left-hand side, we have our client, and it's highlighted in red. We're going to click the Done button, and we can now see we have the opportunity to tag this appointment. Now, the reason we tag the appointment is it pulls through to things like reporting, and it also pulls through to your cloud marketing and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to tag it. Now, just to give you a bit of an indicator, NC stands for new client. NR stands for new request client. NS stands for no-show. Okay, so we can see what kind of client that's going to be. OLB will stand for online booking. R stands for request client, and SC is salon client. Now, of course, you could create your own tag, okay? So whatever you wish it to be. Again, it's a great visual indicator to let us know what kind of clients we have in that day. So I'm going to say that my client Daisy is a new client. And we're going to click the done button. Now what we're going to do is we're going to simply make an appointment. So of course we do have to choose a service. So on the left hand side we have our service categories. And if we click onto a specific service category, we can see all of the services that fall within that category. Now, just to let you know, if that client has had a particular service before, it will appear at the top, okay, making it nice and easy for you. So it's a great quick visual indicator to let you know what that client has had previously. Because of course we know what it's like. They may ring up and they may say to you, I just need my roots doing, okay? You can go to make an appointment and you can see they've always had a full head of highlights or maybe a balayage. And you can say, oh, we always seem to do a full head of highlights. It's just a great way to be super accurate and of course offer that bit more of a personalized service because of course it looks like we know exactly what they had booked in. So it's fantastic for that. So let's treat our client. We're going to book them in for a blow dry. We can see that just here. And we can see all of the basic information of this appointment just here. However, if you made a mistake for the particular employee or you needed to change the service, you can do. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to click the done button. Perfect. The appointment has now been made. So you will see in the top left-hand corner, you can see we have our tag as NC. Now, if you remember, NC stands for new client. Perfect. Now you will notice as we look at this appointment, you can see we have this dark green section just here. And we have this lighter green section just here. Now let's say Daisy walked through the door and she had quite a lot of hair. So we need to make this appointment a little bit longer. In the bottom right-hand corner of the appointment, what we can do is simply click with the left side of our mouse. We're just left clicking for the time being. We're going to left click and drag down. And you can see we can make the appointment longer or shorter. Now, let's say we needed to move this appointment over to somebody else's column. On the left-hand side of the appointment, again, we're going to click and then drag, and we're going to move it over to Matt. Now, you will notice as soon as I do that, this pinky beige color appears just here. Now, the reason for this is I have moved my appointment from James over to Matt, but you will notice Matt isn't set to work today. So again, it's a visual indicator to let us know that we've kind of made a bit of a mistake. So we've made an appointment in Matt's column and he's not set to work today. But we can simply move that back to James. Now, if you ever wonder what any of these colors ever mean on your appointment book, if we go down to the bottom of the screen here where it says menu, we can click just here on the fourth option down where it says color legend. And we can see all of the different types of appointments we have. So we can see that beige color there is a clash. That basically means we've clashed the appointment or we've made a mistake. So we've made an appointment, we've made it longer and shorter, and we've also moved it around the appointment book. And of course, we've got our tag in the top left-hand corner, a visual indicator to let us know that our client Daisy is a new client. So we've just been left clicking for the time being, but what about if we wanted to start right clicking and maybe start adding some extra information? So what we're going to do is we're now going to start to add some basic information to the appointment. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to right click with the right hand side of our mouse, which opens up some extra options of our appointment just here. So what we're going to do first, we're going to add a temporary note to this appointment. Okay, that's only going to be temporary. So we've right clicked and we're going to go down to where it says notes. And we're going to add a note in. Now, to give you a bit of an idea of the kind of temporary notes you might add, it's something like running late. Okay, so we can let our stylist know that our client Daisy is running late. Now we've added our temporary note and we can see that in the top right hand corner. Now hopefully everybody has something enabled called touch tip, which basically means if we touch the appointment with the tip of our finger or we simply click onto it with our mouse, it will bring up down the bottom our touch tip or where it says appointment info. And this basically brings up all of the basic information of this appointment. And we can see the note down the bottom here where it says running late. Okay, so we've added a temporary note on. Now, what about if we wanted to add a temporary note onto our stylist or our therapist or our barber? So right at the top of the screen again, here where it says James, we're going to right click and we're going to choose the first option where it says message. And let's add a temporary note onto our stylist or our staff member. And we're going to click the done button. Now you'll notice straight away we have a pen and pencil, a pencil and pad directly at the top of the screen. And again, if we click onto that by right clicking, we can go to message and we can see the client rang for you. Perfect. So let's just circle back. We've made an appointment. We've made it longer and shorter. We've dragged it around and we've just added a temporary note to it by right clicking onto our appointment. And we've added a temporary note onto our staff member again by right clicking. Now, these notes so far have all been temporary, but what about if we wanted to add a more permanent note? Okay, and we're going to get to that in just a second. Now, whilst we're working at the top of our screen here on James, and whilst we've been right-clicking, what we're going to do is we're going to right-click again, and we're going to go down to where it says View Week, okay, the third option down. So we've right-clicked and we've clicked onto where it said View Week. Now, what you will notice, this brings up James's full working week. Now, the reason you may wish to do this is, let's say you've got a client that's saying to you, what availability does James have tomorrow? What availability does he have on Friday between 10 and 4? What availability does he have on Saturday? And you find yourself simply flicking backwards and forwards between the pages and you're getting a little bit confused. Of course, we can do the view week and we can see exactly his availability. It's a fantastic way to be super accurate. And of course, if we just go back to COVID-19, of course, we need to ensure every appointment is utilized and we search for every single appointment that is possibly available. Now, you may be looking at this thinking to yourself, okay, that's absolutely fine. We've put James into the mix. But what about if we have a salon where we have a particular staff member that does the color and they always go back to another staff member for the cut? Well, what we can do is we can add another staff member into the equation. So right down the bottom of the screen here, we can see where it says employee. So if we click onto that, what we can do, we can see we've got one staff member selected. So of course, we've got James selected. So let's add Sarah into the equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the gray dotted square next to Sarah. And you can now see we've got two staff members selected. And we're going to finalize this again by clicking the done button. You can now see we've got Sarah and James side by side. Now, if you need to as well, you can also toggle the weeks. So down here, you can add 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and so forth. And to simply remove this, all we do is we simply click the done button. Perfect. We can now see we have our appointment just there and we're back to exactly where we were before. So we've added a temporary note on. We've added a temporary note onto our staff member as well, again by right clicking. But what about if we want to add a permanent note on, something we need to be made aware of every single time we make this appointment? So we've utilized our left click and our right click of our mouse. But what we're going to do now is we're going to start to double click our mouse. So what we're going to do on our appointment just here is we are going to double click. And this again opens up all of the information of our appointment. And you can see here it's with James, it's for a blow dry, today's date at 11:45 till 1:45. Now down the bottom of the screen here, we have the card button. This will take us to all of our clients' personal profile card, so we can update any information. So of course, moving forward, if we do need to update any of that information, check the phone number, check the email, this is where we can do it. Now, what you will also notice here on the right-hand side is we have where we can opt in via SMS, via email. This is all due to GDPR. So this is a great way to opt all of our clients in for anything, as long as we do have their permission. Down the bottom left-hand corner here, we have a message box. Okay, now this is if we want to just add in maybe a short message. We don't typically use this, but I will explain what it is for. This is maybe if the client has maybe recently got married or recently had a baby, something like that. Something that you may wish to refer back to on their next appointment. Okay. And of course, we also have the refreshment box. Now, the idea behind this is so we can add a refreshment in. Now, let's say if you have a salon where you have an assistant or a junior, the idea would be once the client arrives, you can open up the client profile card, just like we did by double clicking with the left side of our mouse. We can see the client's favorite refreshment and we can get that ready. Okay, it's a great way to add a more streamlined and a more personalized service. And of course, it is time saving as well. Excellent. So what we want to do now, we want to add a permanent note onto the client, something we need to be made aware of every single time this client comes through the door. And what we utilize for this is we utilize something called the alert button, and we can see that just here. So if we click onto the alert button, we can see it's all date specific. So we can say here that this client has an allergy to latex, or maybe it's something that specifically happened for this particular appointment. Okay, maybe they had a skin test on this particular appointment as well, or maybe something actually happened that we need to be made aware of. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the done button. And what we're going to do is we're going to click the save button, and we're going to click the done button and the done button again. Now, what you will see in the top right-hand corner, we have, again, our little orange and white exclamation mark. This is a visual indicator, again, to let us know that this client has an alert. And if we click onto it, it opens up our touch tip, and we can see that just there. Perfect. So we've added a temporary note. We've added a temporary note. We've added a permanent note, and we've just added in our alert as well. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, how can I be made aware of this, this alert every single time we book this client in? Okay, I'm so sorry, ladies and gents. Would you bear me just 1 second? Perfect. I do apologize about that. I just wanted to turn some of the alerts off. I saw we kept having people trying to contact us, maybe not aware that we were currently in our webinar. Perfect. So how can we be made aware of an alert every single time we made an appointment? Because as we saw, this client has an allergy to latex. So how can we be made aware of this when the client makes the appointment? So what we're going to do on the right-hand side, if we click where it says clients, and then if we choose our client here, so let's say this client is Chris, we can also see they have an allergy to latex, but our client was called Daisy. So let's have a look for her. Perfect. So we can see our client here, and you can see that exact same exclamation mark in the top right-hand corner. So we've got that orange and white exclamation mark. And here on our dashboard, we have our allergy to latex. So again, this is a great visual indicator to let us know that this client does have an allergy to latex. Now, depending on, of course, the alert you popped in, it may be they have lots of hair or something like that. So it's a great way to let us know that that client has an alert on their name. Now, you will also notice, again, on the client dashboard here, we have some other information that may be relevant to let us know before we make an appointment. We can see how many visits they've had, how many no-shows, or how many cancellations, things like that. Because, of course, if you have certain salon rules or certain terms and conditions for your salon, you may wish to ask the client for a deposit. Underneath, we can see if they've purchased any outstanding client series. We can also see if there's any future appointments and any past appointments. Again, it's a great way to ensure we don't double book them, and of course, ensure their previous appointments and things like that. Perfect. So if we just go back to our screen, so we've added a new client in, we've made an appointment, we've made it longer and shorter, we've added a temporary note, we've added a permanent note, and of course we've added a temporary note onto our staff member. So what about, let's say Daisy rings up and says, actually, I'm not able to make my appointment today. Could I please reschedule? So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to right click onto our appointment and we're going to go down to here where it says select. And you will notice the appointment is dropped into this folder just here. So what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to the day they wish to reschedule to, i.e. tomorrow. So we're going to click the day forward button. We're going to open up our folder. And you can see there is our appointment. We're going to click the gray dotted squares and we're going to click and drag onto the appointment screen just like that. And it says move the selected appointment or appointments 9:30 on the 18th of June with James. And there we can see it also keeps the same dragged out time just in case they had extra time because they had lots of hair. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reschedule it back to today. So again, I'm going to right click and I'm going to go down to where it says select. And I'm going to navigate back to today because that's the day I wish to reschedule it back to. So I'm going to click today, open up the folder. I'm going to click the gray dotted squares, click and drag onto the appointment book. So we're going to click yes. Perfect. Okay, so the all important bit now, Daisy is ready for her appointment and we can see the time is exactly when her appointment should be. So what we're going to do is we are going to right click and we're going to go to where it says arrived. Now I'm using a test system, which is mine has gone blue and yellow. However, yours will just all go a solid light blue color. So the reason we arrive a client is because Daisy is a new client. So we don't actually know what she looks like. So by arriving a client, it is a great way, and again, a visual indicator to all of your staff members to let James know that Daisy is in the salon. And of course, due to COVID, you don't want people hanging around and waiting too long. So we want them to be in the styling seat and getting looked after as soon as possible. Perfect. So let's fast forward about an hour. Daisy has arrived. She's had a fantastic service. She had a fantastic blow dry with our stylist, James. And the all important bit now, we need to check the client out and of course, take the bill. So what we're going to do, again, we are going to right click and we're going to go where it says check out. And this will take the client to our point of sale screen. Okay, now our point of sale screen is a bit like the till system. Okay, so anything to do with exchanging money, buying, selling, anything like that. And we can always access our point of sale screen just here as well on the right hand side. So we can see we have our client here. We've got James is our employee who offered a blow dry to our client Daisy. And you can see we have our price just here. Now, let's say we needed to change that price. So let's say it was actually £20, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to click where it says just in here, and we're going to change the price. And that will change it over. Now, for the time being, please don't worry about this PPE just appearing here. So I'm just going to remove that. That's something else we've been working on, okay? So let's say our client, Daisy, came in for a blow dry, that was £20. But let's say she also purchased a retail product. So what we're going to do is we could, of course, scan the product if we're using a barcode scanner. But let's say we don't have a barcode scanner. We need a way to manually search for our products. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on any one of these gray sale lines. And we're going to choose the relevant staff member that sold the product. We're going to click the product button. And you can see here is our company, here is our line, and here is our specific product. So all we're going to do is we're going to choose the specific product. Ooh. So there is our product just there. And we can add as many products in as we like. But like I said, if you are also utilizing a barcode scanner, of course you could scan the barcode here. Not a problem whatsoever. So we're now looking at the client's bill. It's £26.95. But then the client says to you, I usually get a little bit of discount, okay? So you can see we have our discount column just here, and we also have our discount button just here. Now, if we had multiple services offered by multiple employees, the discount button just down here will take the discount off all of the services across all of the board, okay? Now, let's say maybe the discount was only to be taken off of one service from one particular employee, because maybe that's a new staff member. What we would do is we would choose the discount column in line with that particular employee. So we're going to click adjust here. And you can see on the left-hand side, we have a list of all of our discount reasons. Now, these discount reasons will be set up on day one of shortcuts, and they're also available in the configuration of your shortcut system. So we're going to click done. And of course, there is the discount. Now you will notice it is not taking it off of the products because in the background of our system, we have set it up that all discount cannot be taken off of products. So now what we need to do is of course, take the client's bill. Now, so we can see down here, there is an outstanding amount of £16.95. So on the left-hand side, these are our payment types. So we've got our cash button and we've got our card button. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the cash button. And we're going to say how much money the client gives us, okay? Because the client most likely won't give us £16.95. They may give us £20. So we're going to click the done button and it will tell you how much money the change is. So £3.05. It will also prompt you to rebook the client. If you do wish to rebook the client, it will simply take you to your appointment book where you can reschedule the appointment. We're going to click the done button. Now, the all important bit here is we're going to click end sale, and that will finalize that bill. Now, I may just get a small error because, of course, my printer is offline. So there we go. That is how we take a client's bill. Now, one thing I am going to show you as well is how to put money on a client's account, which theoretically works a bit like contactless payments. So let's say they ring up today and they say, I want to book in 6 weeks time for a cut and finish. A cut and finish is £35. I want to put £35 on my account ready. I'm going to pay over the phone and I want to put £35 on my account. Okay. Or of course, it could also be worked moving forward, a bit like a deposit scheme for extensions, things like that, or weddings. Okay, but I'm going to show you how to put money on a client's account. So this is all done via the point of sale screen where we just were. So what we're going to do is we're going to click point of sale. Now we always have to assign an account payment to a client. So in the top left-hand corner, you can see we have clients. So we're going to choose a particular client. So let's choose Bruce. Okay. So we're going to choose our client Bruce and we're going to click done. In any one of the empty grey sale lines just here, we're going to click into it. It doesn't matter who you choose. We always say to get into the habit of choosing Z Business. However, your staff members will not earn commission from this aspect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click the account button just here. And we're going to say how much money we wish to put on their account. Then, of course, at this point, we need to say how we're going to pay for putting this money on the account. Now, if you're doing this over the phone, of course, the payment will be via card over the phone. So we're going to run it through as a card payment. And our card payment button is just here. And the all important again, we need to click the end sale button. Of course, that will finalize it. So we have now popped £30 onto our client Bruce's account. So how can we be made aware of that? You may be thinking, well, how do I know if a client's got money on their account if they don't tell me? So if we go to our client screen on the right-hand side, and if we search for our client Bruce, you will see we have this green textbook next to our client's name. You will also notice here we have where it says £30 owed to the client, okay? That again is a quick visual indicator to let us know that this client has £30 on their account. So how can we redeem this £30? Well, it's nice and simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to book Bruce in for an appointment. Perfect. So we can see the appointment has now been made. So what we're now going to do is we're going to check Bruce out exactly the same as before, and we're going to redeem the money he has on his account. So we're going to right click and we're going to click checkout. Which of course again takes us directly to our point of sale screen. Now, if we wish to redeem this money, we can see in the top right hand corner, Bruce has £30 on his account. So again, I'm just going to remove this PPE just here. Again, this is just something we're testing. So we can see he has £30 on his account and the gents cut and finish costs £30. So we can now redeem this money. So this is our cash payment option, and this is our card payment option. Now you may remember the yellow briefcase is our account payment option. So we're going to redeem £30 from his account. So we're going to click onto the yellow briefcase. We can see there's £30 to be redeemed. We're going to click done. And again, we can rebook, but we're not going to for the purposes of this training session. And we're just going to simply click end sale. That will now redeem the full £30 off of his account. Now, of course, if he has more money on his account than what the service is worth, it will just simply stay on his account. So if we now go back to our client, Bruce, you will see the green briefcase is gone. And of course, it now no longer says money owed to the client. So there we have it. That is our new starter training. That is our refresher training. Okay. Now there is of course lots and lots and lots more we could go through, but this is just touching on the basics and getting us moving forward with making an appointment, checking clients out, and just obviously brushing up on the basics. It's been absolutely lovely speaking to everyone. If you do have any questions, please feel free to drop those across to me now. I did see one come through, so I'm just going to answer that now. Can you turn that option off that the appointment can't be moved without a manager's permission? So very good question. So that is basically Ali is just asking, can we stop it that the appointments can be moved across? Off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure, but I will check for you now. There are lots of changes you can make, but that specific one, I don't believe I've ever been asked, but let me just have a quick look. I don't think we can, Ali, but let me just double check. Ah, there it is, just there, move and resize appointment. So to set that up, Ali, I'll go through that with you. On the right-hand side of your appointment book where it says setup, if you click to where it says configuration, over on the left-hand side in the bottom left-hand corner, if you click where it says general, and if you right at the top, click where it says security, and then whichever security role it is assigned to, we're going to click up here where it says access. And then let's say you want to stop all of your staff members that are assigned to the employee role. You click onto employee. Over on the right hand side, we expand appointment book, and it's just either move or resize appointment. And just take the tick out of those boxes just there. You may have to give just a quick restart to your shortcut system for that to take effect. But there we go. Yes, to answer your question, yep, you can do that without the manager's permissions. Yep, you can do. Perfect. Any other questions for me this morning, ladies and gents? You're very welcome, Liz. Thank you very much. How to put tips on for staff. So that would initially have to be set up in the background. So there's a couple of ways we can do it. If you want to run tips through the system, which will of course appear on all of your reports, that would first need to be set up in the background. So what we're going to do is again, under setup, we're going to click where it says configuration. And then over on the left-hand side, we're going to click just to where it says point of sale right at the top. Just remove that, sorry. Let's just get rid of these. print errors. We're going to click onto point of sale, and then just here where it says allow tips. And you can configure some options here as well if you wish to. Let's just take the limit away. And then what that will do, once you've restarted your shortcut system, in your point of sale screen, there will be a button just under discount where it says tips. And that is where you can add the tip on. That's usually if you want to utilize tips on card payments, but of course you can do it for cash as well. But that will appear on your reports as well, and as well in your cloud reporting too. But yes, that's how you can add tips on for your staff members. You're very welcome. No problem at all. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, Liz. Straight after this, I've got another session. As soon as I finish these, I go into another session, and then I start my webinar. I come out of that, I go into another session, and I'm basically I'm kind of back to back for probably about the next 5 weeks. That's how much I'm booked up. I'll certainly try. I appreciate. I've still got your email where we're going through with the marketing. I'll certainly try. It's just I'm so very booked up at the moment. I'm struggling to sort of get everyone in. You can give a call to our help desk. They can run through everything with you. But if not, I will certainly try and put it in a little step-by-step tutorial for you. But yeah, soon as I finish here, I'm going to go straight into another session and then back to the webinars and that way. But I'll certainly do everything that is possible for you. Also, as well, Liz, sorry, just say the remote connection issue you had will require the help desk for that, because unfortunately that's something I can't look into. No worries. Lovely. Any other questions for me this morning? Perfect. Okay, so I think that's it for all of the questions this morning. Let's just have a look, make sure I didn't miss one. Oh, is this seminar going to be on YouTube to rewatch? Yes, it will do. In the next sort of 3 to 4 days. Unfortunately, I don't know who asked that. It came up anonymous. But yes, in the next sort of 3 to 4 days, you'll be able to rewatch that. So if you go to our YouTube channel, the best way to get to it is just youtube.co.uk/users/shortcuts UK. If not, if you're just on your normal YouTube channel, and then just type in shortcut software, things like that, you'll find all of the videos we've updated before, and then you can just subscribe to our channel through that. But yeah, the seminar will be available to rewatch. Okay, so I think that's it for all of the questions this morning. Thank you ever so much for joining me. If, of course, if you do think of anything else, please feel free to drop us an email. It's been lovely speaking with everyone. Hopefully, I'll be able to speak to you on my next 2 webinars. If not, stay safe and I'll speak to you all again soon. Thank you ever so much. Bye bye.